Thank you for listening to the Following Films podcast. Today I'm joined by JT Mollner and Giovanni Ribisi. I had them on the show to talk about their collaboration on the new film Strange Darling, which is currently in theaters everywhere. In Strange Darling, nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree. The film is written and directed by JT Mollner, and Giovanni Ribisi acted as the film's director of photography. It also stars Willa Fitzgerald, Gallner, Ed Begley Jr., and Barbara Hershey. This is a hell of a good film and one of my favorites of the year, so definitely make sure you check it out this weekend. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks. Will do.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, JT. Hi. Hey, Giovanni. Thank you both so much for taking the time to do this today, guys. I really appreciate
likewise.
it.
Thanks for wanting to talk to us.
Yeah. Well, this is one of my favorite films I've seen so far this year, and it unlocked a memory from when I was 10 years old, in the best possible way.
Okay.
Nothing thematically in the film, the experience of watching it was similar. Well, I went to see Big Trouble in Little China when I was 10, and the first reel of the movie broke. And so I hung out for 20 minutes waiting for him to fix it. And about half the people that were there left. And the rest of us that stuck behind, we got to watch one of my favorite films of all time. When I was watching your film, the screener site crashed. And so I'm watching it and it's like, shit, I was so into this first 12 minutes of this movie, but I feel like there's something here. I got to come back. And, reset the router, did all the things, changed the laptop and, sat back down with my wife and we watched this movie. And it was so worth coming back to. I'm so glad I did it and hung out for that second reel to get put back together so that I could, in the technological sense, enjoy this film because it was worth the wait for it, man. So congrats. You guys got a great film here.
Thank you. We were happy to live in the world in the same space in your mind that John Carpenter occupies. I'll take that in any day and all day. So thank you so much.
Well, okay. So one of the things
it's great with an audience, and if you go out and check it out, it's an interesting ride when you see it with a group of strangers.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. This is one of those films that I would almost the kind of film that I watch with my wife, and I annoy the hell out of her because I'm watching her the entire time, waiting for certain moments instead of actually, I just want to watch her reaction. And there's moments in this film where I just, I know what's coming up here. I need to look at you when you get this, when you see what's happening. But the thing I love about this film, I know people have talked a lot about kind of the twists and the way that it's written and that element of it. But what I really love about it is the film is telling you what it is the entire time. It tells you, but it's the baggage that we bring as an audience to the film is where the deception exists. And so the film is very honest about what it is. If you look at the color palette,
thank you.
If you look at like even the way Kyle's holding the gun in the beginning of the film, it's all saying exactly what this thing is. But you're not allowing it to tell you that. So I love that. And could you just talk about the idea of the structure of this film and supporting it through the visuals and through the performances without tipping the hat too much, but really you're being obvious the whole time of what this thing is.
I am so grateful that you're saying that because that was the goal all the time.
Okay, good.
We wanted to stretch the rubber band like as far as possible without breaking it. And it was, if the whole movie was about some great Hitchcockian twist or Rod Serling's twist, or an M. Night Shyamalan, if the whole movie was about that, then I didn't even really want to go up against those guys. Like they're so good at what they do. Like I don't want to even try. So the idea here was to have these surprises happen in the midpoint, and then and also not cheat like with those surprises, and especially from a performance standpoint, to make sure that we weren't. I told Willa and I told Kyle we had these great meetings. And they probably couldn't do it any other way because they're such pros and they're amazing actors. But I said, always play your emotional truth as this character. Don't worry about red herrings. Don't worry about helping us with surprises. We'll do that job with the structure. Just play the roles, play the roles. And if your character's angry in that scene, the audience won't know why your character's angry until late, whatever. And so I love that you noticed that because it's so important to me because I didn't want to be dishonest to the audience, and I didn't want the characters to have to be dishonest in order to like cheat to help some twist, And I'm
I think we were really. Oh, sorry. part.
Yeah,
But I think we were really conscientious of staying away from the idea of a gimmick and making this an organic thing that, ultimately you can find yourself doing math with certain plots, even if they're not non-linear. But this was really, I mean, it was a testament to JT's directing and the performances really just really were electric. I think that a lot of people are a lot of people are enjoying the second viewing and the third viewing a lot more. So it's not about spoilers, I mean, yeah, it's good to have that first experience with it, but I think that there's so many other there's so many different levels to the film.
Oh, 100%. This is something that, yes, I think it's better served that first time. Go in as blind as you can, know as little as you can. But this is something that absolutely warrants a revisit. This is something that it'll end up on the shelf. This is going to be one that I'm going to want to go back to for years to come. And
cool.
This is the kind of movie that I have a 14-year-old son that's getting into horror films. And I don't know that I want to be the one that watches this with him necessarily, but I think this is one that I want to leave out, and hopefully he'll find it and watch it on his own.
Like you go to work, you just leave it on the table.
Yeah, there you go. Like, hey, just in case. Oh, wow.
I'll watch it with him. Come on.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. That's cool. It's that weird American thing that I can't get away from. As progressive and as open-minded as I want to be, violence I no problem, but with my kids you show half a boob and I can't do it. It's that thing so it's like I know I try. I wish I was better than I am, but it's one of my flaws. One of my many.
That's a great line. Like, so I don't even say it, but that was it. That was funny.
So could you talk a little bit about the look of this thing, because it's so I love a stylish film. In fact, I can watch a film that's dripping in style and I'm not terribly concerned about the substance, because it was a pretty thing that I like looking at.
I know.
This is something that really, where the style of this film is 100% in service of the narrative in a way, even down to like when you're going to the split diopter and this is inside their head, you're getting this. And it's something that's, look, I appreciate those shots and it harkens back to, you're shooting this on film and doing this. And I get that. And I'm all for that and but it's not a style exercise. The story to me felt like it deserved to be told this way.
Yeah, I mean, it was really about the conversations with JT and this creative process where we kind of put ourselves in a bubble together for truly, I mean, it was about 4 or 5 months working and developing the physical the visual language of the movie. And I think that we really wanted to stay away from the sort of ocean of content that we see, which feels like, when you step back, you see so many common homogenized traits that are really creative decisions born out of convenience and these rigorous schedules that people have, and thinking that, you can do now a television episode that's 70 pages long that has in the same amount of time that you did back in the 90s when it was, which is it's a lot. So we wanted to put the camera in a very specific place. We wanted to have very specific choices, everything be concerted to create this sort of, this world. And so that was a huge part of it. And I think that the foundation of everything was really just exactly that, which drove the story for us on an emotional, human level, which was really about these characters living in a fairy tale. And take license to have, these sort of lush, dreamy landscapes and environments where there where where horror is happening, really, not the genre horror, but the emotional sort of idea of that.
The film does get horrific for sure, though, and the movie's telling you what it is, though, in these big colors and everything, and it feels like when you're watching this, is this just a director who loves this style but isn't necessarily, him and the DP are making this thing that they don't really know how to convey the seriousness of what I'm seeing on screen, because I'm taking this far more seriously than I actually should be at the moment. The movie's telling me, hey, have fun with this. Everything from the title cards. This is a fun movie to be had. And there's some serious shit that you're getting into here for sure. But at the end of the day, I think that this is a movie that is not without substance, but is something that is really just, it's provocative because it's really pointing the lens back at the viewer and saying, what did you bring to this? We told you what it was, but what is this saying about you for making all these assumptions about these things, which I really appreciate.
Wow. Thanks. Yeah. And thank you. I like that you take it seriously. I think it definitely was an exercise. We wanted it to be a ride like that. For me, this is my version of a pop song, right? So we wanted it to be a ride, a pop song, albeit maybe a Smiths pop song or the Pixies. But so definitely not a pop song, but it's about as close to something that the goal was fun and excitement and tension and just a ride. And so that was a big part of it. But we were also looking at, Vonnie has such a similar sensibility, and the directors and the DPs and the craftsmen who interest me, and who really interested me when we were doing this movie, are the precisionists. And so I remember talking to Priscilla Elliott, who became a massive, she was such a big part of bringing this thing to life for us. And we talked about color control and color lock. And the first time when I got into Oregon, we went to see Lost Highway together at the Hollywood Theater in Portland. And we were like, yeah, let's. So we were in this mood of really being specific. But I was watching Rosemary's Baby. And, we talked a lot about Dick Silbert and how, production designer who spent so much time learning about the characters from Ira Levin and Polanski, and then figuring out what they would be reading. And stacking books in that. And I talked to Priscilla about that, and she was her attention to detail, it was like Vonnie with his cinematography. She was so determined to be meticulous that I said, I think I found our Dick Silbert. She was just amazing. And so we definitely wanted, even though it's a fun movie and it's a ride and it's all that, and on some levels it's a pop song, we wanted to make sure that we were taking the process seriously in every step of the way, and making sure that the composition was precise, and every single movement of the camera, every single every time the camera's placed somewhere, it's precise. And I think that working with Vonnie and seeing so many of these shots, at least to my taste, are things I would put up on my wall, and watch what's the David Lynch film with Wild at Heart, or watch Blue Velvet. There's so many frames that can be put up on the fucking wall. And we've never talked about Wild at Heart, Vonnie, actually, I don't think together, but those colors and those frames, we wanted to make a beautiful candy coated movie. And that's what he was able to bring to life for us.
Damn, the green and red here. Of course, that makes a lot of sense with in Wild at Heart. Those are the colors I think of, and that I think of very similarly here, where you have the natural bright greens that are almost fluorescent in their color. They're
only
unnatural.
Natural world. There's no manufactured green in this movie. It wasn't allowed to be unless it was coming from plants and tree. Anyway, we get really excited about this. So I'm
No, I love this stuff. This is, and I know we're getting short on time here, but I got to ask one last question. You mentioned kind of this is a pop song, and there's something disposable about that to some people, but a good pop song can change your life. Come On Pilgrim. Yeah, I'm a better person for having had that album in my life when I was in middle school. So and the Smiths, absolutely. So that's, and like I mentioned, my 14-year-old before. Yeah, I can't, sure. Yeah. It wasn't my life that it changed, but certainly changed a lot of lives. So
I mean, Prince made some pop music. Michael Jackson.
Damn.
Yeah. No, I mean, this was a Elvis Costello pop song. That might be a good.
There you go.
We definitely take it we take it super. We have to. The filmmakers have to take it seriously, hopefully, and we were taking the subject seriously, but we also wanted it to be really, really fucking fun.
It is so much fucking fun. This is such a great movie. I had such a good time with it. I hope that's coming through. This is one of those movies that I so highly recommend to people. It's rare that I can see a genre movie that really just grabs me like this, that I could also easily recommend this to my mother-in-law, because I know she would have a blast with this thing. And it's just one of those ones, again, don't want to watch it with her, but yeah, for
mother-in-law.
sure. I got lucky. I got a good wife and a good
I have a good one too.
But thank you guys so much for doing this, man. And the only thing is, I'm a greedy American consumer, so I hope you guys work together again sometime, because I love this partnership and want more of it.
Thank you for saying that. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Take care.
And I don't wanna go home, not this time. You think the story gets old, but I don't mind. After all the things she said to me, after all I know she cares, but that night I was not alright. I've never been there, so I was quite scared. So I've never been there, so I was quite scared. Oh, and I remember all the words she said to me. Now I know she's got me figured out, figured out, figured out. And I don't wanna go home, not tonight. Just let me talk about all the old times. Just drink until it's funny, babe. I feel future's all upstairs, but I know I'm alright. I've never been there, so I was quite scared. So I've never been there, so I was quite scared. Oh, and I remember all the words she said to me. Now I know she's got me figured out, figured out, figured out. I miss my friends, I miss my friends so. I miss my friends, I miss my friends so. I am not going to feel good tomorrow, I got a feeling hangovers?